you haven't heard yet, you will soon, that unfortunately Metro can't afford to come out to accidents that are non-life-threatening. So what that means is if you've been in a car wreck and nobody needs to go to the hospital, as soon as the police find that out, they either don't come or they leave the scene. Well, how does that change things? Well, now there's nobody coming to the accident scene and determining if one party is at fault and one party was fault-free. That can cause a lot of problems later on, because now if a driver who originally said, yeah, I'm sorry, it was my fault, changes their mind and says to their insurance company, it wasn't my fault, they stop suddenly, it wasn't my fault, they cut me off.
Yeah, we've actually seen that, and this change went into effect probably 3-4 months ago, and we're already starting to see situations where insurance companies are denying claims that they previously would not have denied, and they're doing it purely on the basis that there is no police report.
So the big question for most people then is, how can I protect myself against that? And most of us now have cell phones. So the thing that I recommend most, if thank goodness you haven't been injured badly enough to need to go to the hospital, is take lots of photos with your cell phone. Pictures of every vehicle from different angles. Talk to witnesses at the scene. Get their telephone number, name, and address, so that if we need to, we can contact them and get them to give written statements. And if possible, get the other person to write down a sworn statement that they admit they were at fault. It'd be very hard for an insurance company to argue that their insured wasn't at fault if you have a signed statement.
Yeah, and at the bare minimum, make sure you get the opportunity to look at the other driver's license to confirm their identity, make sure they are who they say they are, write down the license plate of the other vehicle, and write down any other information that you can think of. All of those things are going to help you down the road.
Yeah, speaking of look at their insurance too, and make sure it's actually for that vehicle and that the policy has not expired.
This message is brought to you by Hennis and Haight.